freaking tragic ski accident. And when that happened, in that moment, we lost a truly special, amazing, and beautiful boy. And as you can imagine, the minute that happened, our lives were thrown into a state of chaos. Right? Lives that were once filled with hope, with a sense of security, that was gone. It's like the rug had been pulled out from under us. And as we made our way back to Massachusetts from Montana, each one of us, Susie, Kai, and myself, we entered into our own journeys of processing our grief. And for me, processing my grief or making sense of all this, what essentially happened is that I was cracked open. And when you're cracked open, everything about you, who you are as a person, is exposed into this soupy mess of rawness. And there it is in front of you, ready to be examined and explored. And as you look into that soup of rawness, you take a look at yourself, and what rises to the top ain't pretty. It's your fears, it's your insecurities, it's your limiting beliefs, it's all the crap and baggage you've carried with your entire life. And yet you have a choice in that moment. You can either face who you are, or you can decide not to. In my already broken and fragile state, I wanted nothing to do with that. I said, hell no. Pushed it away. I did my best to push it away, to try to deny that part of myself. And what happens when you do that is an old truism in therapy and coaching comes to life, and that is what we resist persists. And all that baggage, my fears, my insecurities, they came roaring back at me, and they essentially waged war on my psyche. And I tried, I assure you, I did my best to try to not go there, but it raised the volume on my voice of self-doubt, my voice of self-criticism, self-loathing, and it brought me to very, very dark places. And one day when I was in my home office, I had this beautiful Chesterfield couch in my office, which is a place I spent a lot of time in those early days and weeks after William died. I was in a really bad way. I'd lost all hope. And in that moment, I considered the worst possible option. And just as I was going to that really, really dark place, out of the back somewhere from the depths of my subconscious, there was a faint light. And with that light, a notion was starting to form. But I couldn't quite make it out. And as I took my attention away from the dark over here and started to focus on the light got brighter and the notion got clearer. And that's when I came up with a mantra that essentially saved me and has helped me even to this day. And that's the mantra of what would Willie want. What would he want? Would he want me to join him? Would he want our union to dissolve? Would he want his best friend, his little brother, to suffer? No, he wouldn't want any of that. He would want his love to flourish through us. He would want his mama to smile again. He would want his brother to grow up and have the life he couldn't. He would want me to write our story. He would want me to write our story. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. The only way I was going to honor William and honor what happened was to actually face who I was as a person. And so that's what I decided to do. For the next 4 to 5 months, every morning I'd get up, I'd go to William's room, I would meditate, and I would reflect on the question, what can I learn from this? And initially, the way I did it was in a place that I'm quite comfortable with. I did it with my head. I thought a lot about it. I conceptualized. I intellectualized things. I tried to rationalize things. And that was okay at first, right? It helped me make sense of this horrible tragedy to a point. But if I was really going to make some inroads and really go deeper, I was going to have to do it in a different way. The question was how. And so another day on that Chesterfield couch, I'm never getting rid of that thing, I was sitting and really thinking about all the love that had surrounded me and our family through this horrible ordeal. I was thinking about the 4 words that Susie said to me when we first reunited at the ski patrol clinic. It's not your fault. I was thinking about the hug I got from that EMT when we first saw William's body. I was thinking about a tender moment I had with my mother for perhaps the very last time. I was thinking about a tender moment I had with my father for perhaps the very first time. I was thinking about all the love that had been showered upon us by our friends, our community back in Carlisle, Massachusetts, all our family members, and all the wonderful acts of humanity that we experienced. And it's really crazy because all this love, I was just sort of bathing in this love that everybody was showering on me and our family. And in that moment, I got out of my head for the first time and into my heart. And something amazing happened. I did something I hadn't done since I probably grade school. For some reason, I had an inclination to write a poem. And so let me read that to you right now. The poem's called Love Manifest. Love is small green ribbons affixed around town. Love is a community enveloping a grieving family. Love is travelers near and far coming to pay their respects. Love is a moment of lucidity amidst the fog. Love is connecting in a way you haven't before. Love is a wife being strong when her husband is falling apart. Love is a smile on a 6-year-old's face as he sees a picture of his brother. Love is the pain I feel in my heart. Love is a gift my son gave to the world. William loved to love. We always would say that William was the heart of our family. And he would show that love by giving us a giant bear hug with his skinny little frame. He would squeeze you with all his might. And when we lost William, there was a void of love. But that was filled by all of you, by everybody who surrounded us. And that love allowed me to tap into something or a part of myself that I either didn't know existed or that I buried a long time ago. And that's what I call my inner poet. It allowed that side of me to come out. And so I read that poem, Love Manifest, to myself, and I said, that's pretty good. And I got inspired to write more poems. And so every time I would get a moment of insight or something would get me thinking, I'd write a poem. I'd be in the shower and something would come to my head, I'd get out of the shower quickly, write it in my notebook. I'd be running an errand, I'd quickly type it on my iPhone. And so one poem turned into 15 poems. And when I read all the poems, I wanted to share it with the world. But I realized if I was going to share it with the world, it needed more. So I decided then to write the chapters that would follow each poem. And so I took each poem and I cut them into small squares and I put them on my whiteboard and I laid them out in the structure that would eventually become the book. And I started writing the chapters in January of 2022 and I finished the first draft in June of 2022. And it was a pretty good first draft. I mean, as someone who's never really written a book before, it was okay. But I realized I need help from some editors, some professionals. And so I started working with my first editor, Nina Ryan, and then later I worked with my second editor, Kay Colbert. And I was thinking about this journey of editing that eventually would become this book. And with each subsequent round of editing, I wasn't just editing the words, I was editing myself. Not in the sense of paring myself back, but actually of opening myself up. I was slowly chipping away at the suit of armor that I put on years ago and letting my guard down and being more vulnerable. I was giving more of myself to this book. And as I think about that process, I realized now that I was on a path. I was on a path that my teacher, my son William, had paved for me. It's a path I refer to as the Wolf's Path. He walks alone at times, finding his way in this world, struggling to find his place in the pack. He is paralyzed as he ponders, who should I be? How should I be? As he tumbles and flips the hurdles within and finds the boldness of a flat-brimmed hat, he lets the rhythm of the music be his guide. Inspired by a founding father, he won't throw away his shot. Turning compassion for others towards self, strength found in his own authenticity, be yourself, became his mantra. His gait more self-assured, the pack now looks to him on how to be. When William was not even 8 years old, he came up with a mantra, be yourself. He wrote it on a note card in big, red, bold letters. And he didn't just write, he lived it. In that last year of his life, he grew into who he was. He found his sense of style. He found his ease with himself. And on that last day of his life, that came to him in the way he skied that mountain. And being yourself sounds so simple, yet for many of us it's not. And I think about what it really means, and I think about what we really want. You want me to write our story. You want all of us to write our story. Because being yourself is about writing our own story. It's about not letting it be written by others, it's about others' expectations for us. It's about not letting it be written by the could-haves, would-haves, or should-haves. It's about having the courage to share who you are, your full self with the world. And that is the greatest gift my son has given me. And just as William was a wonderful teacher to me, so have Kai and Bodhi been, particularly on this path and journey I'm now on towards just really growing into being myself. From Kai, I take the importance of resilience, because the path of being yourself is one that will throw many hurdles in your way. There'll be many things that will try to knock you down, and it's important to be resilient, find the courage and the grace to get back up and keep moving forward. And that is a blessing I received from Kai. And from Bodhi, my 3-year-old little spitfire of a son, keeping me young every day. He has taught me the importance of acceptance of yourself, the good, the bad, and ugly parts of yourself, because we all have those, and acceptance for whatever life has to throw at you. And you just take what it is and you accept it and you try to move forward. All 3 of my sons have inspired me and continue to inspire me to be a better version of myself. And I think about the experience of writing this book. My goal was to share my lessons because I think they can help. And yes, it is about the words. It's about me talking about these lessons, but really the experience of writing this book is me walking the talk. And that's really been the most amazing part of this experience. It's finally given me a platform to be myself. I'd like to leave you with one last poem before I then will open up to questions. My wish for you. Our time here is brief, so let us not squander all that this life has to offer. If we open our hearts to all that arises, life becomes our greatest teacher. And when moments of insight ignite our soul, may we share it so others can flourish.